Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This one's from user Moore9776. Devastated. On January 2nd, I found out my wife has been having an affair for the past 8 months. I was utterly devastated and still am. We have been together for the past 7 years and married for the past 3. My entire life was upended in a matter of seconds. My sense of safety and security in life, losing my best friend and any confidence I had in myself. Being on the receiving end of an affair changes your body's physiology. I am in a constant state of hyperarousal that is numbed out only slightly by utter exhaustion that follows. One of the most hurtful things is her lack of remorse and callousness. I am only being able to hypothesize as to why she is having that reaction, but I suspect that it is a character flaw and she is incapable of empathy towards others. Learning that your partner started playing by a different set of rules, but you are still playing by the ones that you agreed to on your wedding day is the worst kind of betrayal and hurt someone can experience. At this point, I am continually reminding my body and mind that I am safe and I don't need to rehearse my anger because I'm no longer being deceived. But it's going to be a while until I feel safe again, and I trust my instinct as much as I did before the affair. Also, I already filed for divorce a week after finding out. It will be finalized towards the end of April. Well, first of all, of course, OP, I am so sorry you're having to go through this. And you are absolutely right, getting cheated on is the worst kind of betrayal and hurt anyone can experience. The good thing in this case, OP, is that you filed for divorce right away. You didn't even wait to try to reconcile or to give it another thought or anything. You were betrayed and you went through what you needed to do. So now let's move on with OP's first update to see how he's doing. A few days ago, I posted in the sub after I found out in the beginning of 2021 that my wife has been having an affair for 8 months. We have been together for 7 years. Since then, I experienced another significant loss. My dad died. My mom and dad divorced when I was very young. He was in and out of my life a few times, but was never consistent. He had a number of relationships in his life, but he was never able to form deep and meaningful connections on a long-term basis with others. In short, he treated people as disposable when things began to get tough. He left my mom when I was born. As I reflected on my dad's life and death, I began to see striking similarities between my wife and my dad. A few years ago, I fell off the roof and shattered my ankle. My wife had to take care of me for a few months while I was incapacitated. It was during that time that I believe our relationship began to change. Narcissists enjoy the appearance of perfection, superiority, and have great difficulty forming deep and meaningful relationships. They are incredibly skilled at being able to influence and deceive people, and are able to form surface-level relationships very well. I believe I recognized similar qualities in my wife on some level, and that is what drew me to her in the first place. It was an opportunity to correct a fractured relationship I always wanted but would never have. Recognizing this gave me some clarity. After I found out about the affair, I was so angry and hateful towards my wife for what she did. Beginning to understand the similarities of how each of them formed attachments helped me to realize how angry I still was at my dad, and how some of the anger I was experiencing towards my wife was being displaced. Don't get me wrong. I am still angry towards my wife about the decision she made to treat our relationship as disposable, but some of that anger was not about her. Recognizing this also helped me begin to separate the complex feelings I have towards my wife. I felt guilty that I still loved her after she hurt me so deeply. In moments when I would think about how much I missed her, I realized I was thinking about times earlier in our relationship when we connected in ways that were deep and meaningful. Reflecting on the healthy ways my wife and I connected earlier in our relationship helped me to realize that the person I married has been gone for some time. Part of me will always love my wife, and it is that part that holds the memories of how well we connected. Separating that part from the affair has helped me heal and begin to restore confidence, knowing that I do have the ability to form deep and meaningful relationships. It will still be a very long time before I am able to trust in an intimate relationship again. However, when I find myself on that path again, I believe I will have better insight to enter into a healthy relationship and find someone who will treat me the way I should be treated. OP, I have to say, the way you are going about this whole thing is incredibly admirable. We can tell that you're angry and that you are going through a very strong grieving process. But the way that you are analyzing this thing is so rational and logical that it's helping you move forward. Instead of letting your emotions take absolute control of the way you're feeling and maybe spiral you into depression, and even though you are sad, you are going about this logically. You're already filed for divorce and it's in process. Now, you're just trying to work through your feelings, and I find that is great. So far, what do you guys think about OP's actions? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the next update. Over the weekend, my mom came down to visit and help. Although I was grateful she was there, I found myself feeling apprehensive and on edge nearly the whole time. We even fought once. When she left, I felt an overwhelming wave of sadness and depression pass over me. I barely got up and sobbed uncontrollably a good part of the day yesterday. It was then I began to realize that I did not feel comfortable or had a voice with my sadness around important women in my life. I mentioned in my previous post that I fell off the roof 3 years ago and shattered my ankle. It was during that time that my wife was thrust into the caretaker role and her perception of me began to change. I remember several interactions where I picked up on resentment. It as bringing me breakfast because I could not walk. Part of me felt bad for inconveniencing her, and now I realized it was then when I lost my voice in the relationship. Falling off the roof was my first close encounter with death, and the fear I experienced put me in a role where I was at the mercy of others. My wife was not a natural caretaker, but I also recognized that she was the best chance I had when recovering. At the time, I felt like I could not rock the boat, so I took my shoes off and walked on eggshells, and became more accommodating in any way I could to keep her happy. It was uncomfortable. But slowly, I also began to recognize resentment building in me from the betrayal on her part. We take care of each other no matter what, and if there are issues that come up, we talk about them and process them. As my resentment grew, I began to become more angry and passive-aggressive. This was my way of taking back power, but it was also my mistake, as it prompted her to move away from me. I now realize that an important part of healing is finding my voice that I had lost. There have been other points in time where I had lost my voice because of a power differential coupled with fear. It is growing up in a single-parent household after my dad left. And I know moving forward those are two important factors I will need to be on the lookout for. My voice is important. I began therapy today and it felt great. I'm optimistic moving forward that I will be able to heal from this. I also feel like I am able to separate the woman who I fell in love with and married from the person who she is now, so I don't feel the draw of wanting to go back. I genuinely miss my friend and the woman I fell in love with. We had a happy, healthy relationship for some time, and it was great, but no more. OP, I think it's great that you started therapy, and I think it's great that you're looking for your voice to gain your power back. The one thing I would do like a side note on is that you do miss somebody, but that's not your wife because the person you fell in love with doesn't exist. That's the person she was showing you, the illusion of the person that you fell in love with. But other than that, I think OP is doing great. So now let's move on to the latest update that OP has given us. Since my last post, I have started seeing a therapist. It has been very helpful. I have also started to address underlying issues I am now realizing I brought into the relationship that were unhealthy and prompted emotional distance that led to the affair. Like many on this sub, I am a natural caretaker. This is a belief that was planted very early on in life. Growing up in a single-parent household with my mom, I internalized a fundamental belief that in order to be happy, I needed to make sure my mom was not upset. I also internalized a belief that there was something wrong with me because dad was not there. As a result of these beliefs, I continually put other people's needs in front of mine, and as a result, sacrificed my voice at times when I should not have, especially in times of fear and conflict. These were the most scary because I anticipated them being a repeat of earlier times in life that were completely unmanageable as a child. Moving forward, I am focusing more on listening to my instincts and needs, especially at times when anxiety and fear are present. I am tired of unnecessarily avoiding conflict as a way to ensure my safety. I am realizing that it is the furthest thing from the truth. Healthy conflict resolution is a necessary ingredient for intimacy in the long haul. I spoke with my wife tonight for the first time in nearly a month. Going into the conversation, I felt scared, anger, and anxious, but I knew it was important for me to stand my ground and say my piece. It was a difficult but cathartic conversation for both of us. I did not concentrate on the anger I felt about her betrayal, but I instead took ownership of what I did that created emotional distance that led up to the affair. After having the conversation, it also became clear that she does not have motivation, insight, or emotional capacity, empathy, to ever feel safe or trust her. Ultimately, I do not think that she has the ability to love me the way I deserve to be loved. She did, however, say that she was sorry she did not have the courage to tell me how unhappy she was earlier, and she hopes I do find the happiness I deserve. That felt good. I know I still have a long road ahead of me before I feel more comfortable being able to ever love or trust again. I need to focus on me, my needs, and loving my imperfect self. I do feel like there has been a release from the anger that I was carrying, which is nice. I hope my experiences can be helpful for anyone going through something similar. Introspective work is draining and difficult, but ultimately worth it. The Reddit community has helped me immensely through the most difficult time in my life, and I cannot thank everyone enough for your help and support. Well, OP, congratulations on having that tough conversation with your wife and all of the realizations that came with it. I believe that therapy is really working on you and it's helping you move forward, which is fantastic. I really like the sense of accountability that you have on this situation, OP, in the sense that you took ownership of what you did to create emotional distance. This doesn't mean that you are at fault for the affair. Of course, it was your wife that made that decision. But the fact that you can own your part in it is great, because now you don't see yourself as a victim anymore, and that allowed you to release the anger you were carrying, which, like you say, is nice. So, OP, I wish you all the best in the upcoming year and your upcoming divorce, and also thank you so much for sharing your story. Take care, OP. And so, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Also, if you feel like chatting with others from this community, you can always join my Discord server and check out my subreddit. I'll leave the links in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.